Now, I'm not 100% certain how far into this conversation I can go before I get my hand slapped and reprimanded and penalized, a strike by the platform, by YouTube. But we're going to try. We're going to try to attempt this and see what happens. Fingers crossed my channel doesn't get taken down or this video doesn't get deleted. But essentially, people are dying. People are losing their lives. Left and right, people are going missing. They're becoming ill. Hospitals are overrun. And it almost seems like this is what they really want to happen. Or at least they need to happen in order for them to, make good on their promises to some of these lobbyists and their constituents of the overall plan, agenda here. And we are talking about the overall population. And now we have two main culprits, or maybe just one, because they're linking the icy winter blasts gripping U.S. blame for deaths from coast to coast, okay? The icy winter blast. And odds are this probably isn't even talking about the homeless who are out there trying to bear these frigid cold temperatures, these sub-zero temperatures, these temperatures that are causing Teslas and Rivians and Lucid Airs and Hyundai Ioniq 5s to go flat, die, dead batteries, depleted rapidly in these cold temperatures. And if you needed a reason why not to buy an EV, that would be one. The other would be that they're ridiculously expensive. And the third would be that they don't actually produce any meaningful, impactful change on improving our environment. Yeah. I wonder if I'll ever get a video sponsor. This video today is brought to you by this product, but let me tell you why you probably don't want to buy it. Anyway, not doing this for the sponsorships. We've got climate change being linked to a spread of new illnesses, folks. And I don't know if there could be a worse illness that causes diarrhea. So we're going to talk about that. And then also, we already have what's been reported by several different news outlets. This one is in Tennessee. Let me know if you guys are in Tennessee. Just drop a T in, put a T in. If you're in Tennessee, in the comment section, 17 winter storm related deaths reported in Tennessee. And this came out today, just minutes ago. 17 winter storm deaths. Winter storm related deaths reported in Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee. The Tennessee Department of Health, TDH, has confirmed 17 people have died in the volunteer state as a result of this week's winter storm. 5 of the 17 deaths were reported in Middle Tennessee, 1 in Hickman County, 1 in Van Buren County, 1 in Henry County, and 2 in Marshall County. 6 deaths were previously reported in Shelby County, 2 in Washington County, 1 in Madison County, 1 in Carroll County, 1 in Knox County, and 1 in Lauderdale County. And 1 was recently added in Rowan County or Roane County. TEMA's Emergency Operations Center in Nashville is activated at a level 4, allocated to support local requests. And on Wednesday, January 17th, TEMA Director Patrick Sheehan, on behalf of Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, declared a state of emergency to provide commercial vehicles transporting livestock, poultry, and feed to the livestock and poultry relief from hours of service until 3:59 p.m. on January 27. Snow is increasing across Middle Tennessee Friday morning with a light accumulation of up to 1 inch possible. Then falling temperatures and colder air will take over for Friday afternoon. Bitter cold mornings are ahead and warmer temperatures are expected finally to return by Monday afternoon. And a winter weather advisory remains in effect for most of Middle Tennessee through 9 a.m. Friday today. A winter weather advisory remains in effect for southern Kentucky through 6 p.m. Friday today. But I don't know how you say that the winter storms are related to deaths reported in Tennessee and provide this information without actually saying what's causing these deaths, because I think it's more than just cold weather. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm wrong. The Associated Press has their take. Icy winter blast gripping U.S. blame for deaths from coast to coast. Maybe this will shine some light on it. This also coming out of Nashville, Tennessee. A new layer of ice formed over parts of Tennessee on Thursday after a deadly storm blanketed the state in snow and sent temperatures plummeting earlier this week, part of a broader bout of bitter cold sweeping the country from Oregon to the Northeast. Authorities said at least 14 deaths in Tennessee alone are blamed on the system, which dumped more than 9 inches of snow since Sunday on parts of Nashville, a city that rarely sees such accumulations. Temperatures also plunged below zero in parts of the state, creating the largest power demand ever across the 7 states served by the Tennessee Valley Authority. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I would be willing to bet that these cold temperatures are affecting folks who are unable to afford their utilities to heat their homes and stay safe. Not to mention this huge demand on the power, this huge power demand. We're going to get to that. Thursday's freezing rain compounded problems, adding a thin glaze of ice in some areas ahead of another expected plunge in temperatures over the weekend. Many schools and government offices have closed, and the state legislature also shut down, canceling in-person meetings all week. Near Portland, Oregon, ice slowly began to melt in areas south of the city as warmer temperatures and rain arrived on Thursday, but a National Weather Service advisory through Friday warned of freezing rain and gusting winds of up to 40 miles per hour for parts of the state. Most Portland area school districts canceled classes for a third straight day because of slick roads and water damage from burst frozen pipes. And on Wednesday, a power line fell on a parked car in northeastern Portland, killing 3 people and injuring a baby during an ice storm that made driving in parts of the Pacific Northwest treacherous. More than 40 deaths nationwide have been attributed to the frigid weather in the past week. So they actually finally described one of the reasons behind how or why. So that's a few. It's unfortunate. It's extremely sad. The dead in Tennessee included a box truck driver who slid into a tractor trailer on an interstate, a man who fell through a skylight while cleaning a roof, and a woman who died of hypothermia after being found unresponsive in her home. The deaths occurred in 9 Tennessee counties spanning more than 400 miles. So, again, energy, power demand. This is, again, another push away from EV, battery-powered cars. Don't even waste your time. Don't even bother. If you live in a state that could see snow, don't even do it. So if you want an EV, you can have one in Florida or Texas. That's pretty much it. Or maybe New Mexico and Arizona, because California gets snow. So I don't know. It's a terrible idea. Unless you want to have a separate winter vehicle. I know some people have winter tires, but maybe you have a winter car, because an EV, a battery-powered car in the winter, is a terrible idea. Now, additionally, the skylight cleaning, the roof cleaning, I would be willing to bet that that happened on a pre-engineered metal building with more than likely like a Galvalume metal roof, because the skylights on those roofs all they are just formed panels of fiberglass that allow light into the building, but they're not structural panels. So you definitely don't want to step on those, because you will be walking through it, falling through it. But if you're on a roof and it's covered in snow and you're trying to clean the roof off, well, then that presents a very dangerous situation, because you'll never know where those skylights are beneath the snow. And the biggest problem with this is the building owners that don't know any better, because they're not roofers, and or companies that are sending employees and staff onto roofs for maintenance purposes that aren't properly trained. And fiberglass skylights on metal roofs, or pre-engineered metal buildings, or Galvalume roofs, or R-panel roofs, those are so dangerous. You got to be careful, as well as driving on icy and slick roads. The Tennessee Highway Patrol said it also investigated 3 fatal car wrecks caused by the storm, more than 200 wrecks involving injuries, and more than 600 others without injuries. And Shelby County, which includes Memphis and is the state's largest county, has had the most deaths, 5. But officials have declined to release many details about the deaths, citing privacy concerns for the families involved. Tennessee's Department of Health also refused to confirm accounts provided by local authorities of deaths likely tied to the 14 death total. Across the country, in Washington state, 5 people died from hypothermia over a 4-day span that saw temperatures plummeting to well below freezing in Seattle, the King County Medical Examiner Office said. So be careful out there, folks. I was watching a news report, I think it was Alabama, Mississippi, and they were saying that with the temperatures that they were expected to receive, you could end up with frostbite in minutes. So this is serious stuff. It doesn't go into great detail on if these folks had homes or if they were living on the street. Odds are that's probably the case, unfortunately. And it says that 3 of those who died between January 11 and January 15 were presumed homeless, said Kate Cole, a spokesperson for Public Health, Seattle and King County, in an email. First time I'm reading this with you guys, so we're kind of discovering this together. 1 other person was temporarily housed and 1 lived in a private residence, and she cautioned that since reporting investigating deaths take time, the toll could still be rising. And in Western New York, the icy weather was blamed for 3 deaths in 3 days. Then on Thursday, an American Airlines plane slid off of a snowy taxiway in Rochester, New York, after a flight from Philadelphia. No injuries were reported. I want to bring you guys a story later. I saw a headline about American Airlines actually removing the amenities of TVs and legroom from first class. Sounds completely unbelievably asinine, but par for the course as we're rapidly approaching an era, a new time frame of paying more and getting less. But I digress. 5 people were struck and killed by a tractor trailer on Interstate 81 in northeastern Pennsylvania after they left their vehicles following a separate crash on slick pavement. In Kansas, authorities were investigating the death of an 18-year-old whose body was found Wednesday in a ditch not far from where his vehicle had become stuck in the snow. And in Mississippi, where officials reported 5 winter weather-related deaths, an estimated 12,000 customers in the capital city of Jackson were dealing with low water pressure on Thursday. It was the latest setback for the city's long troubling water system. Again, these attacks on our critical infrastructure, folks, they're blaming it on the weather now. This is climate change's problem, okay? No more of these concerns from the FBI and Department of Homeland Security and, the threats of sleeper cells being activated. No, instead now we're shifting the focus. We're shifting it over to climate change. Yeah, that makes sense. Pipe breaks accelerated on Wednesday when the frozen ground began to thaw and expand, putting pressure on buried pipes, Jackson water officials said. And Memphis's Power and Water Company, meanwhile, asked customers to avoid non-essential water use because of high demand and low pressure, citing leaks. Memphis Light, Gas, and Water said it had repaired 27 broken water mains since Saturday. Joshua Phillips was walking his dog on Thursday in Memphis as cars crawled by, skidding and sliding. He said he had shoveled snow off of his back patio and driveway, but they were now covered in a thin coat of ice, and parts of the city saw nearly 5 inches of snow from the earlier storm. And this is a warning, folks, to be careful, drive safely, drive slowly, but most importantly, drive with insurance, because at any given time, a power pole, a tree could fall and land on your car, hopefully not killing you, but also another motorist could come sliding into you. And you want to make sure you have insurance. You also want to make sure that you are legal, you are insured, you are registered, you are not inebriated in any way, shape, or form, because that would be the ideal opportunity for a police officer to develop some form of probable cause, even though you were perceivably the victim in the situation. Be careful, be smart. Remember, Phillips said he helped a man push his car, which was stuck in the ice. And what I'm more concerned about are the people who are unhoused and are outside in storms like this and don't have any place to go, he said. In Nashville, Will Compton of the nonprofit Open Table Nashville, which helps homeless people, was canvassing downtown for people needing supplies or rides to warming centers or shelters. On Thursday, he stopped his SUV outside the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum to hand out warm hats, blankets, protein drinks, and socks to some of the men standing outside as icy rain began to fall. And people who are poor and people who are homeless are getting hit the hardest, said Compton. He added, a cold spell kind of predictably happens once a winter at least, and yet we're still kind of caught scrambling and finding enough shelter beds for people. Aaron Robinson, 62 years old, has been staying at one of the city's warming centers and said the cold wouldn't have bothered him when he was younger, but now with his arthritis in his hip and having to rely on 2 canes, he needed to get out of the cold. And he said, thank God for people helping people on the streets. That's a blessing. So that is a blessing. And I'm sure that, as they said, these death tolls are going to continue to rise. But again, like I said, they're shifting it. There's always a complex challenge here of, who's doing what and what the main problem is. But we are back on climate change. We are back on climate change. And they're saying that climate change is linked to a spread of diarrheal illnesses, which I'm sure these diarrheal illnesses will cause death, if not having done so already. And this came out just yesterday from Medical Express at University of Surrey. And a new study from the University of Surrey reveals that temperature, day length, and humidity are linked to the increased spread of a diarrheal illness. The findings could help predict further outbreaks of the illness, potentially leading to better preparedness within health services. All right, guys, look, I don't know if you've heard about this. It says we now have a detailed description of how the weather affects the disease, and the next step is to understand the why. Importantly, through our transparent and conceptually simple approach, we can now tell the risk of getting the disease when we know the recent local weather. Okay. So now what they're saying is that these diseases are caused by the weather. Now, granted, don't go outside without a hat and jacket on, you'll catch cold. Got it. But this seems to be far more severe than just a cold. And it says that temperature, day length, and humidity are linked to the increased spread of the illness. Now that is some science fiction stuff right there, if I've ever heard it. What do you guys think? And if you would like for me to go through this in a full video, then let me know down in the comment section down below. Stay safe, stay smart, stay frosty, and I appreciate you guys watching. See you on the next one.